Hello, everyone. I'm at the very last session of my marathon 24 talks in 24 hours. I wasn't talking all the time. Sometimes I have co hosts, like I have right now with Ellie. A couple of times I was talking by myself. Hopefully, to raise some visibility for what we do at Samaritans. Which is we create, we hold space for our callers who might be in crisis to share and talk about what they're feeling and what they're thinking, so that if they have a safe space to talk about some of the dark thoughts they might be having, that we reduce the number of suicides that come out. And that's what I've been doing all day. So we've had so many deep conversations about topics that matter: bereavement, loss, suicide, self-harming, um, burnout, mental health, social anxiety, neurodiversity, domestic violence. Like so many topics that we wouldn't otherwise talk about. And people that I've had on today, most of them are my friends, people that I've known before, and it was humbling to hear some of their stories where they're sharing the amount of pain that they carry, and the things that they've gone through. Because I'd see them at with events or any of the other meetups that we have, and go, hi, how are you? And you just see the surface, and but everyone carries a lot of things that they won't otherwise share. So I'm hoping what we're doing here is to normalize having these conversations about these topics that, oh my goodness, why would I tell you that I tried to take my life when I was 17, or that I whatever that is. It should be normalized somehow when someone says, how are you doing? Instead of just throwing out that I'm fine. I would say pause and think about if the other person is genuinely wanting to know how you are, then what's stopping you from sharing what's going on? So, um, Ellie, thank you very much for being my last session of the day. Um, you you wanted to talk about inner saboteurs.
Yes. So thank you for having me. It's such an honour. I've been watching all day. You guys have been amazing. We're all so proud of you, Play. Like, just well done. But yes, so I would like to talk about inner saboteurs. So I'll actually be talking about this at an upcoming Women in Tech event. So here's a little teaser for you all. Um, because so I've been in the Salesforce ecosystem for a long time. I've been working with Salesforce since about 2011, but I've only really become active in the community in the last couple of years. People hadn't heard of me before then. And I think, there's lots of little things that have impacted me to help give me the confidence and the feeling that I could start, getting more involved. But I think one of the things that had the biggest impact on me was when I had a professional coach. I just want to give him a shout out. He's probably not watching, but Rob West, he was amazing with me. And one of the things he introduced me to was this idea of inner saboteurs. And we've all heard of imposter syndrome and all things like that. It's quite similar to that, but it's actually going into more detail. There's lots of different varieties of saboteurs. It's not just that imposter syndrome and I'm not feeling good enough. There's lots of different ones that you can have. And I just one of the reasons why I wanted to talk about it at Women in Tech, and I submitted to Louise, is just because it's had such an impact on me, and it's given me the confidence to start coming to community events more, and to start applying for that first London's call in, and talk to you today. I would never have submitted to talk to Women in Tech event like I did. The first one I did, I had to be pushed by one of the people I worked with at the time, whereas this I did willingly. And I would never have done that 3 years ago because my inner saboteurs would be going, why does anyone care about that? Why does anyone care what you're talking about? No one cares. Don't even bother, and all things like that. So that's kind of, this talk is explaining how I've got the confidence to be talking to you today or talking at that event. I haven't really prepared any slides for today, but I will have for the Women in Tech. So I'm very much going off the riff today. So if you come to the event, it will be very different. But I do kind of want to talk about some of the stories, or I can talk about how after the fact I've realized that these saboteurs in my head have actually kind of affected me, not just professionally but also personally as well, like in my social life and things like that, to kind of help people understand how they've been impacted by it, because it is quite incredible how since I've started to be more aware of it, I said this to you last week, didn't I, Kate? I feel like really happy and it's because I feel like I'm freer now. I'm more myself. I'm not afraid that these Inner Saboteurs, oh, don't say that because they'll start thinking this, or things like that. So yeah, it's made a difference. So
Where do you think these voices come from?
I don't know. I don't know. I assume everyone has them. Like you hear about everyone talking about imposter syndrome, and it was quite funny because obviously we spoke at, was it last week, Women in Tech, that we spoke at, and I know you did a talk today around it as well about listening to your inner self, and I didn't want to like contradict what you're saying, but there's a part of me that's thinking I don't want to listen to my inner self too much because my inner self is telling me I'm not good enough and no one cares and things like that, and so I'm almost telling you the opposite. Don't listen to them because they don't know what they're talking about. So yeah, there's different parts of you, right? Like there's the part of you that's like, yes, you can do this, and yes, it's all good, and or and then there's the part of you, no, not good enough. You don't care. No one cares.
Oh, okay. So at my talk, I split it into, how does it feel intellectually and emotionally in your body and with energy. So when you have the voice saying you're not good enough, does that sound like a intellectual voice?
Not always. It's almost like an instinct. So what you're talking about the intellectual and the physical and all that, I almost, maybe I'm wrong. I don't know what I'm talking about. I'm not an expert on this, but for me, they're like the kind of the second reaction for me. They're the second where I'm actually listening to what is my mind saying, what is my body feeling, and things like that. But my instinct, and to this day, so I talk about conquering your inner saboteurs, and I'm not sure I'm ever going to get rid of them, but it's about acknowledging that that's my first reaction now. So my first reaction to anything, it's okay. Here's my first little story that I'm going to talk about. My first reaction is about 6 months ago when Trooper first said to me, "Oh, are you interested in getting more involved in the London Salesforce Developer Group?" And there was two halves of me. The half of me that was inside going, yes, I would love to. That's really exciting. I love that group. I want to get more involved. And then there was the other half of me going, but don't look too excited about it. Don't like get too eager. Like, and so like I acted really cool. I was like, oh, I'm not sure if people would want to hear me and blah blah blah. And if I'd have left it at that, like I probably wouldn't be helping to lead the group like I am today. But the following morning, I sat down and was like, hang on a minute, why did I do that? Like, that's not right. And I messaged Troop and I was like, I don't know what the heck was wrong with me yesterday. I was being all shy and naive. But yes, I will do anything that you guys want me to do. I love that group, And then, within the month, they'd asked me to join them in the leading the group. And that might not have happened if I hadn't recognised that I'd done that and gone out and ignored that inner saboteur, that initial thing saying, no, don't be too eager, don't, and all that. So I don't know if that answers your question, but
it's very interesting. I think but I think there are nuances here.
yeah,
I when I did my talk, it was more about callers who are in a place where they're not happy with the choices that they've made already, and they're living someone else's dreams, lives, and expectations, and how to unpick that was where my head was at. Should I continue doing medical school? I absolutely hate it, but I love my parents.
Yeah.
Seeing them happy makes me happy, but doing this does not. It makes me I don't want to get up in the morning. It makes me feel sick to do my lab work and stuff like that. And I was trying to, when I'm listening So when I'm listening to my callers, obviously I don't give advice, but I'm thinking, how would I frame this if I wanted to teach my kids how to make better decisions, for example, and how to listen to their gut, the
Yeah.
instinct that tells them this situation is really wrong. I've this doesn't answer the question, but there's a movie called The Girl with a Dragon Tattoo. I think it is with Daniel Craig.
Yep.
Have you seen that?
Yes. I think I'm not sure I've seen the Daniel Craig version, but yes, I've seen the film.
Oh, okay. So it's the one with Daniel Craig.
Okay.
He figures out who the killer is, and the killer is they don't talk about it. So the killer invites him in for a drink. And Daniel Craig goes in for a drink. He gets kind of like knocked out. He wakes up and he's got a noose around his neck.
Yeah.
And then the baddie says, "You had a feeling and you knew, and yet because you were polite, you didn't turn me down." Right. So that scene sticks with me. And I'm telling my daughter this: if you get into a situation where something inside you is screaming this is wrong, but your brain says, well, if I leave it's going to be very rude, then it is, what do you pay attention to? Do you pay attention to this one that says this is wrong, or do you pay attention to this one? So I'm trying to deconstruct so that they have like a framework or a formula
Yeah.
to make decisions. So my thinking is that if you can kind of like break stuff down, have them talk to each other somehow and go, right, are you stupid or something? This is a very creepy guy, right? And I'm telling you that this is wrong. And you are saying that it'd be polite to leave. I think you're stupid. I think we should just run away. Just run away. You know,
Yeah.
that's what I was thinking. But also your example is also valid. And I'm trying to think now, how do I break it down in my formula?
Yeah.
I would tell her.
I think the formula that you spoke about last week was, and we're talking about now, is very much kind of, for me, and everyone's different, so everyone will be different. So I can't, this is just my personal experience. But what you're talking about would be the second stage of my reaction to something. It would be, my initial reaction is sometimes the saboteurs and sometimes the positive stuff, conflicting, and then I would kind of settle down and start actually going, right, okay. And especially now that I'm starting to be more aware of my saboteurs. Before, the bad stuff that, like, oh, people don't care, would always win. But now I'm starting to be more aware. That's then when I get to that second phase and start going intellectually, how does this actually feel? Are they right in saying they won't actually care about this, or am I just being stupid, for want of a better word? The gut feeling, is this something that does actually genuinely excite me? Am I excited to do this? So why the hell did I say I wasn't? Or actually, no, is it something that maybe I shouldn't be doing because I'm already doing way too many different things and it doesn't excite me? So I think, yeah, I 100% agree. They're both valid and there's definitely nuance, but I do think my instinct is the first part, and then what you're talking about around the decision making is kind of the second part, where I actually kind of, for want of a better word, the pro cons list, say, oh, what's the pros, what's the cons type thing.
Yeah, but I could say, when you say, you were excited, I'd call that energy, right? So
Yeah.
Energy, like telling
Yeah,
you,
okay.
you should do this, and the one that's telling you not to could be your emotions, your fear.
Yeah.
I don't know. Sorry, I'm trying to shoehorn this into my little formula
That
so that it
works. That
applies.
works. I like it.
Oh, okay. So, how do you think you're going to are you going to do what you did, which is take a pause, or are you going to follow whichever one you feel is not the saboteur? Do you think someone comes up with you with a proposal?
Um, so I've started to. I mean, there's so many examples I can think of. I've definitely started to kind of stop and make sure I don't go on my first reaction, which tends to be the saboteur. Like, that's something I've learned. Like, someone asked me, "Are you interested in doing X, Y, Z?" 100% my reaction used to be, oh, I don't know if I can do that. I don't know if I'll be good enough. I don't think people will get. But I've learned to kind of, well, no, wait a minute, let that reaction disappear and then decide, is it actually something that I'm interested in, and then respond. I can't remember the question, and if that answers the question. Um, but yeah, I've definitely learned to take a bit of time rather than just like reacting straight away and going, no, I can't do it. And so therefore putting my little shy, coy,
Mm.
maybe think side on. Um,
I think that I want to hash this out somehow with you. So I had Tracy on with the repeat
yes.
of the thing, and she also had a slightly different take on it. I can't remember what it is now, but I was thinking, oh, okay, my framework doesn't fit that thing, and in my head I was going, I need a framework on how to actually, do you listen to, is your gut telling you the truth, or is it, your inner saboteur, or is it giving you the north star on what you actually need to be doing? Oh, you messed me up now.
Oh, I didn't mean to mess you up. Everything you made sense, but it's just a different take on
No,
it as well.
no, no. I get it. I think I think
Everyone's different. That's the problem. Is you can try and create a framework, and that framework might work for people, but everyone is different, and
yeah.
therefore it's going to be really difficult to find something that actually matches everybody. Because
I know. So like I said, I'm thinking about how if I knew I was going to die next week, and I want to put like a book of framework for my kids, right?
yeah,
To figure out if this boyfriend is a good guy or a bad guy, turn to page 35 and follow the flowchart. Something like that is what I'm thinking.
I mean, I think that's a very like noble cause. I'm not trying to say that's not a cause, and I know you love your children so much. Um, you know, um, but at the same time, one of the things that I'm often saying to my husband, I hope he doesn't mind me saying this, is we have to let them make their own mistakes as well, because that's how they learn. They need to make that wrong decision, because otherwise they'll never know how to make the right decision. Um,
Mm, mm.
so it's
I,
hard. It's hard
I
watching
think
them make that.
so. I also agree. I also agree. I think I was thinking more about, those decisions that have kind of like drastic consequence. Like, should I sit next to this creepy guy because it's polite,
Yeah,
or should I just get off? Just like mm, these sort of things. I'm trying to forward think. I think what's the word? Is it confirmation bias?
yes, right.
Where, because of the shifts that I do, I hear so many bad stories, and I'm thinking this could happen, but in real life, maybe, the chance of this particular situation happening is, like 0.2%. But because,
You hear it a lot more.
this call, I kind of think it's happening all the time.
Yeah.
But maybe it's not. So, it creates a different feeling in me. Like, I'd like a book of, all the things you shouldn't.
Yeah, I mean, just because it happens 0.2% of the time or whatever, like I think we're getting a bit off topic of what we were, but it's fine. It's all good. It's all good conversation. I think I don't hear these stories, and my husband doesn't like it when I walk home from the train station after these meetups at 1 o'clock in the morning because it's dark and whatever. And I want to do it because I want to prove to people that women should be able to do it without fear, but that doesn't mean I don't actually have fear, and I don't have my phone in my hand ready to call someone at a minute's notice. So I think it's right to play on the safe side. I think it's right to kind of, have your confirmation bias potentially making you more wary about it. I think that's better than the opposite of me being all confident, I'll be fine, to my husband, when, yeah, I do get nervous inside nonetheless, but
There's a balance in there somewhere, isn't there? There's a line in between being ultra scared about lots of things and, ultra not scared. Um, hmm.
that's it's all about, there's so many things that is just about balance. There's never, the classic consultant answer, it depends on the situation, doesn't it? So yeah, it's not easy to just go, yeah, this is how you do something. So I understand why you want to give your kids that little flow chart that they can just follow. But yeah, it's a difficult one.
Yeah. I think it warrants a much, much longer conversation than I've got the attention or the energy to do
That's
right
fine.
tonight. So I think at some point you, me, and Tracy ought to just sit down and just get more clarity, even if it is, you're right. There's just no one framework fitting everybody because people are different and situations are different. And it's, the edge cases are just so many that you can't have a golden process that fits it all. Okay, right. So we've talked about it. That's a conclusion. I will accept that. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
So
yeah,
right
yeah,
now it is me having heard from my callers and me putting that together in my head. I feel that this is right.
yeah.
When things feel wrong, make sure you check in these sort of ways. uh, you know if you go out and your friends are doing something that you don't like, check in with yourself.
They're very different situations, though, that I think we're talking about as well in some way. So you're like talking, I don't know, like the situations I'm thinking about. I mean, I guess it's still just decision making, isn't it? But it's definitely very different situations that I feel like we're talking about. Um, and I've said that, and I'm not quite sure how to explain it more. Um, but yeah, the examples you're giving are very different to the examples I'm thinking in my head, where I've got my inner saboteurs telling me
Okay.
stupid things. So this is another example that I was definitely wanting to kind of talk about tonight, and you bring up Tracy actually really kind of fits it quite well because I was thinking of her when I was thinking about this example today. So I'm so socially awkward. I'm so terrible socially. um, and I realised it's only recently that I've realised one of the reasons why this is because I am just constantly in my head thinking that person doesn't want to talk to me. Like, okay, a great example is Louise Lockie. Anyone who knows Louise Lockie, she knows everyone and everyone knows her. She's an absolutely lovely person. Um, but there's a little part of me that's scared to talk to her, and that's not because she's scary, even though I know she can be scary at times. But it's because she knows everyone. She could talk to anyone in that room. Why would she want to talk to little old me? So there have been times when I've like had to fight that feeling to go up and start talking to her because inside I'm going, she's got much better interest in people to talk to me. And just bringing it back to Tracy, that she came and introduced herself to me at one of the meetups, and it was so nice because it just cut out that whole they'd rather be talking to someone else because she was coming to talk to me, and it was really nice. And so Tracy, if you're listening on repeat or whatever, thank you so much because it helped me out so much. But yeah, it's a very different situation to your situation of sitting next to a creepy man or boyfriend. All
Yeah, I
nuance.
I need some help, kind of like, just clarifying that. Why is it different, and is it maybe just a different way of, I don't know. My brain's just not
No,
operating right now.
that's fine. That's fine.
Okay. If it's okay, I'm just going to call it a close.
Oh,
Thank you.
well
So
done. You've done so amazingly well, Pay.
I,
So
my brain's just. Will I do this next year? I don't know. I think it's closer to a no, but let me recover. I hope the talks have been useful in helping people realize that they're not alone, and it is not so difficult to have deep conversations. It There's no special training. I know people say, "Oh, how am I going to talk to this person about having lost the partner in in a car crash and things like that?" It's just being there is hopefully has come across. So you said you've watched a few sessions today. How do you feel?
I found the sessions so interesting to watch. Some of them were quite deep, and I'm not going to lie, made me think, "Oh, what I'm talking about feels so trivial compared to some of them." So massive shout out to some of the people that some of your early. I caught some of your sessions as I was coming home from our meetup last night, and they were quite some deep stuff.
Mm, mm.
Um, but there's been some really interesting stuff. I hope they don't mind. But Paul's session was this afternoon on neurodivergency. I just want to give a shout out everyone I've been talking to about this. I've been going, I thought Paul's session was amazing. Obviously, like I've got a son who's neurodivergent, so I had a particular link with that one as well. But yeah, I think they've been really really well received as well, Paige. So just So well done.
And also, I just want to say that, if you think that it's how you feel is trivial compared to other people, I think that's what a lot of people feel. That's why they don't want to talk about it.
Yeah, that's fair.
How I feel is what I'm going through is just so, trivial, and they don't talk about it, but it builds and is valid, all of these feelings. So, thank you for allowing us to just talk about it again. Thank you so much, Chani and Raksha, for sticking around with us and also supporting Raksha's being here. I bet she's been watching since, like 2 a.m. this morning as well. So thank you so much, everyone. And before we go, I need to do this. I'm just so bad at this. Donate. I am 700 short. So one person to donate £700 and I will be set. So thank you, Ellie, and thank you everyone who's been watching. I hope it has been useful for everyone. And I'm going to, after this, go and have a shower and go to bed. Okay. I will see you again soon, right? At another event somewhere.
Definitely, definitely.